FreelancingWala. So I'm back with another wonderful guest today. Today our guest's name is Miss Kimberly Wiefling. She brings decades of experience in leadership, project management, and organizational transformation. So let's chit chat with her and let's get to know more about her. So hello, Miss Kimberly. How are you doing today?
Wonderful. So wonderful to be with you, Hamza. I appreciate your inviting me on your show.
Thank you so much for coming on, ma'am. It's an honor to host you. So, starting off, ma'am, I would like to ask you that what had first inspired you to pursue in engineering and technology?
Oh, when I was a kid, I had some wonderfully inspiring science teachers, and they made me interested in science and in the world around me. So I started exploring. I started collecting specimens in the forest. I started playing around with science kits, chemistry sets, and things, and I found it fascinating. So when I finally was able to go to college, I studied physics and chemistry. It was really hard, but I love it.
So, from where did technology come from?
Technology, well, I think that just happened when I joined the workforce. When I joined Hewlett Packard, I got an engineering job because I didn't have a PhD in physics, so I couldn't be a professor. And I really don't think there are jobs for just physicists normally, unless you're an astrophysicist or something. So I got a job in engineering for Hewlett Packard, working on mass spectrometers, gas chromatographs, liquid chromatographs, automatic samplers, repairing this complicated chemical analysis equipment. And then I ended up going into manufacturing engineering, supporting the manufacture of this very complex part that has like 2,000 pieces that go into this mass spec, liquids, gases, vacuum chambers, electronics, high voltage. It's crazy. And then eventually I was in R&D doing product development, program management, developing these kinds of products with a whole team of different kinds of engineers. And it was such an eye-opening experience. This complexity, I think my brain just likes that kind of challenge.
That's wonderful to know. We all love challenges. So, Miss Kimberly, so this career which you have chosen, was this a set mindset or life took you somewhere else?
Oh, I think life is pretty random. I think we have a path. We you set out on a destination, maybe go out trying to go to some place downtown, and maybe there's a road closure or there's some kind of issue or the weather changes and you have to change your plan. So I think I just started on the journey and I looked for where did the doors open, where did the opportunities exist, and I followed the ones that seemed right. I experimented, I prototyped. So after 10 years at working at a big, huge company like Hewlett Packard, I jumped over into the startup world. And then being in Silicon Valley, California by then, oh, I love Silicon Valley, high tech, all kinds of smart people, very global. And that really got me interested in even more technology. Plus, NASA. NASA Ames is right down the street from where I live. And so I'm very interested in the space science stuff. And then I live close to Google headquarters, and there's Apple headquarters not too far away. And it's just so inspiring to orbit in this universe.
So you're close to all of the big tech giants of the world.
I am. It's amazing.
So, coming back to Silicon Valley, how was your experience in Silicon Valley? What did you think about it? Did you think it was something out of this world? As you know, most of Silicon Valley is in the startup industry. So, how was your experience?
Well, I joined three different startups. And after I left Hewlett Packard, three failed startups in 3 years. But every time I had to leave a startup that failed, I joined another one. I got a raise and a promotion. So within 3 years, I pretty much doubled my salary and I got a VP, Vice President Executive title in a startup. So
Wow.
that was pretty cool. I don't know. It's just fun, right? And then I got to help start some startup companies. I helped start about a dozen small companies or advised or consulted with them. And now on a regular basis, I'm a mentor through Founder Institute and other organizations. I find startups or startups find me and they ask me for my help and guidance and leadership and team effectiveness and organizational culture and creativity, innovation, project management kinds of things. So it's just such a great ecosystem out here. And having my own business for the last 20 some years, that has been an interesting adventure because now I get to see what it's like to try to find revenue and find customers and make them happy and create my global presence. So now I have this wonderful team called Silicon Valley Alliances. That's a bunch of people I've worked with many times over the last 20 years. We all have a website called Silicon Valley Alliances. We all have our own companies, but we come together to do what we could never do alone. And next month I will be in, yeah, I'll be in Frankfurt, Germany, working with two of my colleagues there for a really huge global Japanese company that I've been working with for many years. So it's a great adventure. I highly recommend it, but it's a little scary sometimes because it's like, where am I going to get my next client and how am I going to make enough money to pay my bills? That's how it was when I started. And the first, I tell people, when you want to start a company, the first 5 years are the hardest. It
Yep,
takes
that
time.
is true. Because you have
You
to
have your
settle in the market and you have to build trust with other brands so they could work with you.
Yeah, that's right. Building trust, absolutely critical. Yes.
So, what do you think? What is the role of trust between connections? For example, like you mentioned that all of you guys have your own companies, your own separate companies, but you guys sit in one place to do something which could never have been done alone. So, what role does trust play in that?
Oh, it's huge. For one thing, we don't have a boss. We come together and we collaborate. And so we will negotiate each time, okay, for this client, what is the purpose? What are the goals and what are the measures of success? Who are the key stakeholders we want to delight? And what is each of our roles in making that happen? And then how do we deal with conflict? How should we signal each other if something's going wrong? And, it's just important to build relationships, build trust, psychological safety, have ways of communicating, solving problems, and making decisions. And that's a lot of work. And then when we share the money, we don't pay each other like employees. We put a spreadsheet together and say, what do you guys think? How should we share what we're getting? We pay all the expenses and then we divide the money fairly according to our joint decision. So everybody puts their opinion in about how much money they think they should get, what percent, and then the lead person for that client makes the final decision. And that is to be open, fair, transparent. So people are not workers, people are team members. And that's so important because if people are just working to earn money, I tell them, don't work with me. I don't want to work with you.
So basically, the critiques to work with you is that you want to build passion and get to know more people, not just the payments.
You have to be passionate about delighting the client and really helping with transformational change for the client. Yes.
Wow, that's awesome. So, as you know, AI is more than faster than before. And as you can see, there are many people building AI startups and like that. So I would like to ask you that in your team, the team which you guys have together, which you have built together, so how do you use AI in that team so that you guys could save time to chit chat or just do something together, like go out with for dinner? Yeah.
Oh,
So
we
how?
don't use it to help us go out for dinner.
I mean,
So
just
the way
make up time for yourself, just to save time.
Well, I don't know that I really use it to save time. I use it to enhance the quality of my thinking in our team and the participant experience. So, for example, for me, using AI is like a coach in my pocket. If I have some challenge that I'm working with a client that has a very challenging organizational culture, and how do I help these people in my workshop keep hope alive, even though they're going back into a pretty dysfunctional culture where maybe the right thing to do will not be accepted and embraced. So I can get some advice, or I can ask, what are the best in class companies doing in this area? So I can make sure that I'm kept up to speed on what is the best and the highest in what I am helping my clients with. So it's a coach for me. I call it a coach in your pocket, right? Here's my little coach in my pocket, AI. And then for the team, we can ask questions together if we want to resolve some issues. We can say, hey, we're having this challenge in this team and we need some help or advice, or give us some things that have worked, right? So we like to use it to squeeze some information that might help us deal with really challenging situations. So, for example, we're working with this one company that's very big and successful, but they have a lot of challenging things designed into how the company is structured. So, we need to ask, how can we keep these participants encouraged and hopeful in the face of the challenges they'll face going back into work? Because AI has a lot of access to lots of case studies and lots of information from many, many years. And then
Yep.
you can use it to summarize things. Sure, you can make a presentation or you can summarize a document. But quite honestly, our work is not focused on documents or information like that. Our work is focused on facilitating in person experiential exercises or online exercises. So we really don't need to use it to process a lot of spreadsheets or reports or documents, things like that.
Yep, that's great to know, Miss Kimberly. So speaking of challenges, what was one of the most challenging moments for you and your team, and how did you guys solve it?
Oh, most challenging moments. Well, I think the biggest challenges we face is when we prepare our participants to present in front of their executives. For example, one of our classic programs is the 6 month Innovation Incubator Leadership Learning Lab that turns managers into leaders and groups into real teams who can do impossible things together. And these impossible projects are real projects that these participants bring to us. But on the very last day of this program, after 15 days together over 6 months, on the very last half day, they got to go to headquarters in front of their executives and their managers and present these crazy projects and the progress they've made. And they present it in very creative ways, sometimes costumes or music or some role plays and things like that. And so the challenge for us is to encourage these people, take this chance. It's safe, it's not dangerous for you. Because here these people are the mid-level layer of the company are presenting to these senior executives at headquarters. So that's kind of challenging to give them the courage to do that. So we have to be the example of taking risks and being creative and showing them that it's okay. So that's probably the biggest challenge we have to face when we lead our workshops, or we call them workshop facilitated learning laboratories. Sometimes it's a little dangerous. Some of the executives are not really ready for some of what they hear. And sometimes the executives actually are resisting. So if that happens, if there's a negative reaction, we need to take responsibility and take the blame. If there's positive reaction, then we need to make sure the participants get the credit and the praise. So that's, dangerous work.
Yep. You can say every 6 months you guys are risking yourselves to be more high and to enhance more and more.
Oh yeah, we've gotten fired from some companies that the executives just can't handle it. They think the executives will hire us sometimes because they want us to change their people. But sometimes the executives need to change. And they don't always like to hear that, and I don't always find a very diplomatic way of helping them understand what they need to change. I can be too direct.
Wonderful, wonderful to know. So, from scrappy project management, what is the meaning of the word scrappy?
Well, Scrappy kind of characterizes my whole family. It's about getting things done that people think are very difficult or impossible, and sometimes it's a little messy and politically incorrect or socially unacceptable, but you do it anyway because it gets the job done. So sometimes that is uncomfortable for people, but scrappy means it's like, hey, let's find a way, we're gonna figure it out. And
In
don't
any
just
way.
give up. Yeah, don't just say, oh, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. No, let's find a way. Let's do it. Yeah, it's impossible. Get out of our way if you think it's impossible. Those of you who say it's impossible, stay out of the way of the people doing it.
Yep.
That's happy. And sometimes it's really messy, and sometimes it's a total failure.
So
But
both of these words combine into scrappy.
yeah, it's kind of almost like crappy, right? But it's scrappy. But part of
Yep.
the issue, the thing is, sometimes people are really, really careful or afraid to have any mistakes or failures or risks. And I'm like, no, make a mess and then figure it out and fix it later. So sometimes that's not everybody's approach, right? Because it's
Yep.
a little dangerous. But I'm like, it's an experiment, it's a prototype. Woohoo! That's the whole Silicon Valley, California. San Francisco Bay Area is filled with all kinds of prototypes, companies that don't exist anymore that became failures. Oh well, it was an experiment.
Yep. That's awesome. That's awesome to know. So any prototype you're doing and any problem you're having and you don't know how to solve it, just make a mess and solve it and then fix it up later.
Yes, and sometimes the mistakes turn into breakthroughs. Like that's how Teflon was discovered. It was a mistake or accident. That's how Post-its were invented. That's how Velcro was discovered. I mean, these things were accidentally discovered.
So in accidents you can get success as well.
That's right. Well, if you know how to mine the treasures in the tragedy, I call it digging for the diamonds hidden in the doggy poo.
Great phrase. So, Miss Kimberly, in from your experience, what do you think in leadership? When what is the mistake which the leaders do when they are managing projects?
Managing projects, well, the biggest mistake is called rush to solution. It's working on how to do the project when you don't know what exactly are you doing, what are your goals and the measures of success, and who are the stakeholders who are judging your success, and what is the purpose. So I call it the big why, the big who, the big what, and measures of success. So before figuring out how to do something, stop, think, organize, plan, big why, purpose, big who, stakeholders, judging the success and benefiting from this project. Big what exactly are the goals and outcomes you're going to create and the measures of that success? And then also the big why not? What are the risks that we will face and how to proactively avoid or prepare for those risks? Most people start with how. How is not where you start. Big why, big who, big what, and measures of success, big why not before how.
So, before finding the strategy, you must find the benefits and the pros and cons.
No, you must find the purpose. It's like if
Oh,
you jump in
yep,
on your bicycle and you're riding somewhere, you know the goal. Where are you going? And why are you
yep.
going there? And who are you going to meet? You don't just start riding. I mean, you can, but then you just go randomly. So,
Then it would
purpose.
become scrappy.
Yeah, because it's yeah, you have to find something to guide you on your journey. Otherwise, you're just working. You're just busy. No, I
You have
mean, so
Google. You have Google Maps, for example.
Yes, but usually you don't jump in your car and drive 200 kilometers an hour without a destination. Usually
Yep.
you have a place you're going, right? But this
Yep.
is so crazy that projects, people just start, have some little idea of what they're doing and they just start doing it. And I'm like, no, no, you have to take a little time. Every hour of planning saves a day of wasted time and effort and rework. But people hate planning. Human beings think, oh, planning is not interesting, it's not fun. Well, of course, it's boring because there you are sitting thinking, making a plan. And you're not building anything, you're not creating anything, you're not producing any output. But if you don't do the planning, then you're just randomly generating things. Now, you can maybe sometimes it will work. Like 20% of the time, you'll get some good result. But if you do some planning properly and use agile methodology and iterative approach, you can increase that from a 20% success rate to an 80% success rate.
That's great. Those are great margins.
Yeah.
So, Miss Kimberly, what makes a team truly successful?
Well, there has been a lot of research on that, and I'm a physicist. I have a master's in physics, and so I like to use data and research that's been proven to work. What makes a team successful is to avoid the predictable and avoidable causes of failures. So there was one bit of research done by MIT Sloan Business School. They studied 70 global business teams and they found the top causes of failures in those teams because over 80% of those teams failed to achieve their project goals. The number one reason was they didn't build trust in the team. They didn't have trust, psychological safety, and a strong team. The number two cause was they couldn't communicate effectively, make decisions together effectively, or solve problems effectively. The number three cause was that the individual and the team goals were not aligned. They weren't going in the same direction. And then number four cause of failure was they didn't even have a clear shared vision and goals. So is that crazy? No trust, communication, problem solving, decision making, no clear shared aligned goals. So that is what you need for a successful team: strong trust, great communication effectiveness, including problem solving and decision making, clear shared goals, and individual and team goals that are aligned. That's what's required for a great team. And you need great leadership for that because those top four failures, that's completely a failure of leadership, in my opinion. And you need a highly engaged team. So for leadership, you use the Leadership Challenge, 30 years of research by Barry Posner and Jim Kouzes. What the best leaders in the world do. It's just a short list of 5 things with specific details. And then you need the employee engagement in the team, which is these 12 things that you need to keep people engaged in their work. And that's from Gallup research, 30 years of research from Gallup on employee engagement. So it's a list of things you got to do and make sure will happen. And since it's so well known what makes teams fail and how teams can succeed, it always is amazing to me how many teams are not following these basic, simple, common sense approaches. So now I say common sense is not common practice.
Yep, that's true. So this shows us clearly that what role does you can say trust and empathy plays in a team.
Yes, right.
So, Miss Kimberly, if there would be any conflict in your team, you can say any type of conflict. So, how would you solve it professionally?
So there's something called healthy conflict. There was a long time ago a book called The Five Dysfunctions of a Team by Patrick Lencioni. And one of the five dysfunctions is they don't know how to have healthy conflict. And the number one guideline for having healthy conflict is it must be done in an environment where people have built trust and psychological safety. So, first, you make sure the relationship is solid and positive and supportive. And then you have to do healthy conflict, which is attacking the issues, not attacking each other. So that's the whole thing. It's not about judging good or bad, right or wrong, like it, don't like it, agree, disagree. It is about looking together at the problem and saying, what's working? What's working? We should keep doing it or do more of it. What's not working? We should change it because it's just not working. It's not effective. What's missing that maybe we should add it? And if anything were possible, what would we change that would help us reach this big why purpose, big who stakeholder delight, big what goals and measures of success? So if you take that approach of analyzing what's working, what's not working, what's missing, what to change to make things transformationally way better, moonshot 10x better, that is a very effective way of addressing conflict. Again, attacking the issues, not each other. And it also helps if you take personal responsibility when you contribute to some of the problems. So if you make a mistake or you have some failure, just say, hey, my bad, guys, sorry. And it helps if the leader or the leaders in the team make themselves vulnerable and go first. You know, it's necessary just to say, hey, some things didn't work. My bad, my fault. Take responsibility for your contribution and then ask for help. Leaders ask for help. Leaders make themselves vulnerable, and true teams attack issues, not each other.
Thank you so much, Miss Kimberly, for that wonderful answer. Um, yes, everyone, always remember to attack the issues, not each other. So, yes, Miss Kimberly, thank you so much for giving your precious time. I really loved talking to you and getting to know a lot about you and a lot about your profession. Thank you so much for joining. So, yes, everyone, she was Miss Kimberly, the wonderful leader, the wonderful mentor. She has, you can say, she has taught me about some things that I did not know that were supposed to be included in a team so it could be successful. So, thank you so much, Miss Kimberly, for doing that. And thank you so much, everyone, for whoever was watching. I'll see you guys with another guest. Goodbye.